Season 3, Episode 1 is called King in Play, and definitely a great start. Let's get into it, fam. And where did we leave off? Well, we left off where the feds came in, and they are ready to arrest Olivia, Norman, Jules, and Roy for all the extortion and all the crimes. That's right. Your man Horus played chess, and now they're being arrested. Of course, they're going back and forth. Of course, Olivia is talking trash, but your man Charles is not being arrested. And it's wild how Charles is not being arrested, but Olivia knows something. Olivia is telling Charles, listen, you better get that money, or I got some evidence showing that you did this, that, and the third. Of course, the feds are listening. Norman, Olivia going back and forth. This is wild. Yeah, Jules is mad as hell, boy, because his own fellas, his own people are taking him out. And yes, Charles being told, no, you're not being arrested, but we can arrest you. And yes, Olivia's like, get this bread or else. And Charles definitely, she got him shaking in his boots, even though he's like, you know what, you can take her away, right? So now we got Rain, and Rain is on the phone talking to Alex. And she's like, yeah, I need you to take me to the club. But yeah, he got a lot going on. Why? Because he's outside watching what's going on with the feds. He's like, look, she's saying I need to go to the club. He's like, okay, I got you, no problem. Take care of Kimmy, because he's waiting for Kimmy. Meanwhile, you got this boy right here, Angel, dancing up in the house. Rain is like, yo, turn that music down. He's blasting music, acting ignorant, acting crazy. And she's like, yo, you need to chill. He's like, where you going? Well, I'm going to open up my club. He's like, man, I wouldn't be caught dead in that club. So, you know, he don't want nothing to do with the club. He think he got it like that. And she's telling him, you know what? You are bugging out. He's like, yo, I'm about to get kicked out anyway. She's like, well, I got the club open. You want to position it is what it is. Now, Horace and Kimmy, Varney, and Malerie, they are absolutely happy. But of course, Kimmy's like, yo, but, you know, who is to say they might not trying to get out? And Horace is like, yeah, you know what? You are just like me. You know, you thinking ahead, you're thinking maybe they'll try to make their way out. But he's like, no, but there's a possibility of anything. So, of course, Horace is still impressed by Kimmy, but Kimmy's always been this way, always got her head on the swivel, always like, you know what, we got to be 10 steps ahead. Now, your man Horace is like, how long have you been messing around with my son, to Varney? He's like, sir. And Kimmy's like, you might as well tell him the truth. He's like, yeah, I've been messing around with your son. He's like, how long? He's like, you disgust me. So Horace is getting on Varney, and here comes Malerie. Mallory's on some like, you know what? It's been a long day. I got these contractors at the house. I need to go home. You know, Varney, take me home. So Malerie saves Varney again and gets Varney out of this situation. She's like, I'm going to go home. It is what it is. Let's get up out of here. Right. So your man Horace is pissed off. And Kimmy's like, yo, what is the problem? Like, what's going on? He's like, you know, who are you to tell me, you know, how I'm feeling right now? And he don't want to talk about it. He's upset about that whole situation. He's like, I don't trust Varney, you know, he's my attorney. So meanwhile, outside, the feds are coming out, taking Norman, taking Roy and Jules and Olivia. Alex is watching, talking to Traxton on the phone. And he's like, man, what's happening? He's like, yo, this is not looking good. They're being escorted out by the feds. And this is absolutely is an embarrassing day. And Alex is like, what the heck is going on? He doesn't know what's happening, but Traxton is like, what? This is crazy. I'm coming over right now. And then Alex rolls up on Jules and he's like, you've done enough. He's like, what can I do? He's like, you've done enough. Get out my face, right? He's mad at Alex. Here comes Traxton rolling up. And Jules is like, yo, take care of that, right? And we're like, what is he talking about? Traxton's like, yeah, I got you, Jules. I'm going to take care of it, right? And he's looking real angry at Alex, boy, man. If you remember last season, yeah, Alex did a lot. And yeah, Alex did lie. So they're like, yo, let's go upstairs. You know, Traxton's like, let's go upstairs and check on these people, right? So they take these folks away. The feds finally got them. Charles walks in the office and he's going to talk to Horace. And Horace is like, I don't want to talk to you. And Kimmy's like, yo, look, talk to your son. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go to the car. He's like, who are you to tell me to talk to my son? She's like, I'm your wife. She is his wife. Because he's like, yeah, he's pathetic and all this and that. He's really angry. But she's like, talk to your son and get this over with, you know? So Kimmy absolutely is telling the truth. Like, I am your wife. Listen to me. Talk to your son and let's get this straightened out. So she leaves, and he just standing there, stone faced, like, what the hell do you want? You know, Charles is on some like, yeah, you know, mom needs this money. If I don't get this money, then he's like, then what? What did you do? But he refuses to tell Horus what he did. We all know he popped people and chopped up some bodies. Now, meanwhile, the elevator, your man Traxton is approaching Alex on some like, yo, are you my man? Are you with me? And Alex is like, of course I am. He's like, nah, are you with me, man? You know what? You lied to me, man. You betrayed me. You lied to me, this, that, and the third. And they proceed to get into it, and they start fighting in the elevator, man. Yeah, this is going back and forth, man. They going crazy. Your man Alex is getting a lot off on your man Traxton, boy. Like, you know, he knows karate, judo. He knows all that stuff. And then the elevator, for whatever reason, is about to give out. And I'm like, okay, why is the elevator all of a sudden giving out because these guys are fighting in it? And that's what happens. The elevator gives out and they start falling down. The elevator falls down and everybody's trying to hold on to the side. Turn around. This man takes out a knife. Traxton takes out a knife and stabs Alex in the stomach while they're falling to their death. This is wild, right? And then it stops and Alex kicks him down, knocks him out, but he's bleeding now because he got stabbed. He jumps out of the elevator, man. He's hurt pretty bad, but he leaves Traxton there. I don't know why you left Traxton there. You should have taken him out all the way, but your blood is there as well. So he gets up out of there. Now they take him in and they got him in the interrogation room. And Jewels is like, yo, don't say a word. Shut up, Roy. You don't know what's going on. I'm a cop. Norman's like, look, I got a lawyer for myself. He's like, I don't got a lawyer for you. I got a lawyer for me. You know, I don't know what y'all going to do. And he's like, look, man, y'all need to shut up. They're trying to find who's the weakest link, right? They're listening to us on the other side of that glass. Be quiet. Like, seriously, this is crazy. And he's like, you don't know nothing. Roy just talking trash, telling Jules he don't know nothing. He ain't nothing, talking wild junk. And everybody telling each other, shut up. Jules is like, yo, you guys are a whole bunch of kids. Just be quiet. They're listening in. So now they're talking about a strategy or whatever the case is. And Jules and Norman seem to have some type of plan. But they're leaving Roy out of it. He's like, yeah, you know what to do, right? Do we need to do this here? He's like, nah, we can't do this here. And Roy is on some like, yo, nah, y'all not leaving me out of this. If y'all trying to pin this on me, I'm going to go ahead. And Norman's on some like, what, you gonna flip? Norman also was telling Olivia, look, those people you owe money, they're gonna get you in jail. So here comes Agent Paul and he's like, look, I got some good news, bad news. Olivia's like, lawyer. He's like, that's it? You don't want to hear my news? And he's like, yeah, you know. Norman's like, how's Ray? He's like, Ray? Yeah, Ray is your boss, right? And your man, Roy's like, yo, F off. And he's like, yeah, tell your boss I'm in here. Norman's like, tell your boss I'm in here. He's like, you know him? He's like, how do you know him? He's like, well, it's how he knows me that he should be concerned about. He's like, are you threatening yourself? And Norman's like, threatening myself? What are you talking about, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, he trying to flip it on Norman, and Norman's like, yo, what are you talking about, bro? Just, you need to tell your boss I'm in here, you know? And he's like, okay, look, one of you guys need to come to my office. Everybody else is going to jail. Everybody else is going to jail. And now this is where they're like, yeah, we need to find the weakest link. And everybody's looking at Roy. He's like, what y'all looking at me for? He is the weakest link. He's like, yeah, man, they trying to put a plan. They trying to pin this on me. And Roy is like, nah, man, I'm going to flip before anything else. So he calls the guy in and he's like, hey, guy, like, I need to speak to that white man that was just in there. Jules is looking at him like he's crazy. Of course, Norman is like he's crazy. He's like, yo, I need to speak to the guy. He said one person needs to talk to him. Well, I need to talk to him. He's like, sir? He's like, yeah, bring me to the guy. Bring me to the white guy that was just in here, Agent Paul. I need to get up out of here. And your boy is about to flip. So now the partition is raised because Horus has a problem with Varney sleeping with his son, Charles. And Kimmy's like, yo, why are you making such a big deal about this? He's like, I just can't trust him. You know what I'm saying? He lied to my face. And she's just like, yo, look, man, you need to just get over it, man. Like, he's just like, it's a compromising position. He's like, it's only compromising when they're not in a good mood. She's like, look, man, I know what it is, and I understand. Like, you're gay. Just be gay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you're jealous because Charles is living out loud and you're not. And Horace is looking at her like, what are you talking about? She's trying to get him to come out in whatever way, shape, or form, right? And she's like, yo, you just need to accept the fact that that's your son. And your man Horace is looking at her like she's crazy, like she has two heads. And she's like, yeah, you know what, man? You just need to go ahead and just be gay and live out loud. And he's like, what? And he just looks at her and she's like, what? And then it just cuts the scene. Malerie goes home and she's clapping like, hey guys, hey, wrap it up. What's going on? And here we meet this guy named Lee. And Lee is the lead contractor. And she's like, I thought you guys said you was going to be done. You said it's going to be done in the morning. What's going on? Or sorry, yeah, we're just wrapping up right now and we'll be done in a minute. She's like, okay, well, wrap up and get out of my house. She's like, excuse me? She's like, yeah, you can leave. He's like, nah, we need to get paid. Your husband said we can get paid cash. He's like, come on, Paco, wrap it up. And she's like, yeah, Paco, wrap it up or I'm going to call ICE. Yo, she is crazy, right? So he goes into the kitchen and he pulls out a bottle of wine. She's like, what the hell are you doing? He's like, look, if I don't get paid, I'm staying. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to call your husband, do what you need to do. He's locked up. Nothing you can do. You need to pay me right now because I need this money cash. And he refuses to leave. And Mallory's like, yo, you need to get out of my house. He's like, nah, it ain't going down like that. I'm staying right here. And he's just sitting there about to drink this bottle of wine. She's like, you know what? How much is it? And he points to the invoice and she's like, you know what? I'm gonna cut you a check. He's like, nope, I need cash right now because I need that cash in the morning. She's like, you know what? I'm tired of you dudes disrespecting me. Go ahead, drink it up. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna sit right here till I get paid. And he is just not budging. She's like, yeah, go ahead and drink it up. Good. I thought she was gonna go crazy. I thought she was gonna go ham on him. But she calls up Alex. She's like, Alex, I need you right now. He's like, look, I'm like 2 hours away. Remember, Alex is stabbed up. He's probably trying to go get, patched up. And he's like, you know what? All right, I can't make it, but I'm going to call Whitman. So now we're back at the house. Whitman rolls over to the door and opens the door. And Horace is like, close the door. So he turns around. He's like, ooh, what the hell, right? So he turned around. He's screwing his face up. And then he gets a knock at the door again. And then he opens the door. And who comes out? Horace comes out, jacket off, tie off, like he's putting himself together, getting his pants up and the whole nine. He's holding his jacket, Kimmy comes out all disheveled, like they was doing something, right? Because we was hearing a whole bunch of smacking and this, that, and the third, and they just getting themselves together. And they walk into the house. Whitman is looking like, my God, like, are you serious? Like, he was like, whoa, what the hell? Like, they was doing something in the back, right? So Alice calls Whitman, and he's like, look, man, I need you to go over to Mallory's house. Like, yo, I can't, man. I just had to welcome in, the Mr. Bellery, but, I can't go right now. You know what? I'm on it. I know who it is. He's like, what happened? He's like, yo, they just got out of the car. When I opened the door, man, Mr. Bellery was smacking cheeks with Kimmy like he was 20 years old. Like, how do these old people do it? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, your man Horace was getting busy with Kimmy in the backseat. But he's like, you know what? I got it. I'm going to go over there. Right. Meanwhile, your man Angel dancing. He's like, music's loud. He's like, go make me a sandwich. And then James is like, yeah, how you doing, Mr. Bellery? He's like, you trying to fool me? Yeah, Mr. Bellery and Mrs. Bellery are right there. And he's dancing. He turns around. He's like, oh, hey, how you doing? Yeah, he looking all embarrassed. And Rain is like, how you doing, Mr. Bellery? And he turns the music down. Angel looking like a fool. And he's like, I'm doing fine. How's your stay, Rain? He's like, yeah, everything is fine here. Everything's great. He's like, yeah, I'm about to go to the club. He's like, yeah, I own a new club. He's like, it's dangerous business. He's like, well, I'm a dangerous bee, right? So, Kimmy's on some like, yeah, we just got back, da-da. And Rain is like, yo, what happened? Come into the kitchen, I'll tell you about it. And Kimmy's like, I'm sure you two have a lot to talk about, right? So they go into the kitchen, and your man Horace is stone-faced looking at Angel like, you such a fool. And Angel's like, I missed you so much. He walks over to him, gives him a fake hug, like hugs him. You know what I'm saying? Like he really missed him and acting like he cares. He don't really care about none of that stuff. Your man Horace is like, God, this dude, such a fake ass, So he's like, just standing there, and then Horace walks off. He's like, "You need anything? Like, you need me for something?" Horace just walks off because Horace just got busy with Kimmy anyway. He don't need Angel right now, right? So they go in the kitchen. Your girl Kimmy gets a drink, and she's like all disheveled. She's still getting herself together. And Raina's like, "Yeah, I'm about to go to the club." Like, "But what's going on with you?" And she's looking at Kimmy like, "Yo, I've never seen you like this." She's like, "Yeah, you know what? So what happened? Tell me what happened." And Kimmy's like, "Yo, won. Like, we got him. Like, we got these terrible people. We got Jules. We got all of that." And she's like, "Word?" Like, "Yeah." But she's like, "Yo, there's something else going on, with you. Why you looking this way? You got certain like thing about you." She's like, "Well, what happened was, I'm in the car with Horace, and I'm telling him, he doesn't need to be mad at Varney and Charles, and you need to come out and be gay or whatever the case is." And then she's like, "Horace went down on me." And Rain is like, "What?" "Yeah, he went down on me, and then one thing led to another." She's like, "Girl, you telling me like it's good?" It's like, "Yeah, it was better than Roy." She said it's better than Roy. So Kimmy is like impressed. And I guess, that Italian medicine really brought the vigor back into Horace, because Horace again was clapping cheeks with Kimmy in the back seat. And Rain cannot believe it. She's like, "Are you serious?" Your girl is like amazed, which is crazy, right? Meanwhile, Whitman goes over. He's like, "I told you to come over here, man." He's like, "I had to, greet the Belleries." And it's like, "You just gonna let me die over here? Like, I got two problems. You the problem, and I got a problem with this guy. Which one you want to deal with?" He's like, "Let me go deal with the problem in the kitchen." Right? So he goes in the kitchen. He's like, "Lee," and Lee's like, "Whitman." And now he's like, "You know each other? Like, what the heck is going on?" So kind of find out, yeah, Whitman knows Lee. And yeah, Whitman was the one that put Lee onto this job. And he needed the cash. Like, "Yo, I need the cash." So Whitman's like, "You know what? I'm gonna make sure you get the cash." He's like, "I need it by the morning, because I got these problems, with my wife and all this and that. And if we don't get this money, it's that and the third. And Mallory's being a real a-hole. She's like, "You need diapers for your little baby mama and your little kids." And she's being a real a-hole, man. And, she's just on some like, whose problem is that? That's not my problem. Right? So Whitman's like, "I got you." And he's like, "See, she's being such a, whatever." She's like, "Poor you." She's being a real a-hole. And I think she's going to put her foot in the mouth. He's like, "Yo, listen, I'm a God-fearing man. I got foster kids. I got a house. If they don't get this money, it's going to be bad for everybody." She's like, "I don't care about none of that." She's just being a real a-hole to this man. And he ain't do nothing but do a job. And he's trying to explain to her, "Yo, I'm a God-fearing man. I'm a good dude." And she's like, "Well, you need to get on your knees and pray, God-fearing man." Like, she's being a real a-hole. Whitman has to hold him back because he's trying to tell her something. She's like, "Really?" Like, she's being a real a-hole. He's like, "Yo, it's time to go, bro. It's time for you to leave. Just walk out the door." And she, again, wants some like, "Yeah, well, you do what you got to do, Mr. God-fearing man," just really patronizing him, really talking down to him. Like, "Bye, Lee." I'm just like, "Mallory, you're such an a-hole." So we in the club. Girl Rain walks in, and she's walking around and she's talking to the security guards. She's like, "Rain, you working tonight?" He's like, "Nah, I'm not working now. I'm just chilling." He's like, "Yeah, so how y'all getting paid?" He's like, "Yeah, you don't need to worry about that. You don't need to worry about that, till Joel's gets back, whatever." Right? And she's just looking around and talking to the guys. The bald head guy, he seems to be cool, but the other guy, he seems to be an a-hole, right? He's in the jail for something or whatever the case is. And he's like, right? So they really questioning her. They thinking that she just did a dance. So she gets up on stage. Like, "Ladies and gentlemen, come up in here. I got something to tell you. I know Jules had you all wrapped up, and I know, they try to get you on some, crazy charges or whatever. But you know what? There's going to be a new boss in town. Why? Because I own the club now, and all your debt is paid on. You don't have no more debt. You don't go worry about none of that stuff anymore. You just work and make sure you pay the house and you keep whatever else. All your money's yours." They all happy. Like, "Hey," he's like, "For real, Rain, you own the club?" They all happy because they don't got to deal with the Jewel slavery thing anymore. And she's like, "Yay." They all screaming and laughing and holding themselves like, what? Like, they are happy because there's no more entrapment that they was going through with Jules and Norman, right? On the low. Norman was on the low. The blonde bombshell walks up while Rain is, being the queen. She's like, "Really, not so fast." yeah, we not so fast. And she's like, who the hell are you? Gina's on some like, yo, I'm the person you need to talk to in the office before you make any more moves. So meet me in the office, right? So she's like, man, who is this chick rolling up in here? Rain don't know who she is, right? And that is the end of episode 1, family. What do you think? Drop your comments below. This is episode 1, season 3, King's Play, Beauty in Black, family. Let me know in the comments below. I'll get back at you with episode 2. Man, VACAY, salute.